Oh, wait, you gotta watch what you say. Promise a prophet can tell you the same. What can you bolster but vanity fame? You might be top 5 stats in the lane, but I'm nobody's top 5 best in the game. Easy to say when your people relate, but I'm tapped in the frame like a vintage Monet. Easy to chat like you really adore, but I keep it a stack really pace so it's torn.
We now have more Lies of P gameplay. Well, Lies of P Overture gameplay footage, man. We got videos. We got videos. We got videos, man. I wish, yo, man. I really wish I was one of the people who could like play Lies of P early. I think they had a thing. About if you signed up for like this Lies of P like partner program or a creator program and everything like that, you can have the early hands-on experience, which I should have done. It would have been so dope to have a early hands-on experience of Lies of P DLC, man. It would have. But that doesn't mean that we can't look at it though. We can't look at it. So I'm going to look at one of my favorite creators to watch when it comes to Lies of P gameplay. It would be Maximilian. Maximilian, I love his. If you don't know who Maximilian is, pretty sure you guys know who Maximilian is. But if you don't know who Maximilian is, Maximilian dude is. He is a phenomenal FGC content. Well, he's not even just FGC. He's just a phenomenal content creator in general. But when it comes to like anything FGC topic related or Souls related or just anything gaming related, he is a phenomenal content creator, dude. Like, this dude is amazing. He got a hands-on experience because he also loves Lies of P just as much as I love Lies of P. Maybe I love it even more. Who knows? But I actually want to see what his hands-on preview gameplay of it is. I wanted to watch this video, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do.
What's up, dudes? Max here. So over the past week or so, I had a unique opportunity to check out an early release.
Like, okay, I know we just started, but okay, three things that already sticks out. One, freeze. That's a new status. The first thing is freeze. The second thing is the gunblade. Cause seeing that from the trailer when he shot that big ass monster. And the third thing is a new arm called Cataclysm, which is interesting because it has a little bar meter at the top right here. So I wonder what that is. But let's continue.
Of Lies of P Overture, which is the new DLC expansion that's coming out for Lies of P.
Phone call. Sorry, I had a phone call. I had to take care of business, but let's continue.
A couple years later now, which is pretty crazy. And thanks to NeoWiz, we got a quick preview.
Wait, whoa. Is this arm like a shotgun?
A couple years later now, which is pretty crazy.
Look like you
and
can
thanks
charge
to NeoWiz, we got
it looks like a
quick preview session of some new modes, some new gameplay stuff, a lot of new weapons and things like that. So kind of wanted to break things down, seeing as Lies of P was my personal game of the year back in 2023.
Yo, not this. Look at the.
Pretty excited about this. And
the attacks. Oh my god! What the fuck?
Yeah, pretty excited about this. And
oh, the boost didn't cost a Fable art. That was just a part of the attack. Oh, that's dope. And then there's a new arm called Icarus.
I think my overall impressions of this session just leave me to be excited all over again. And I'm going to talk about at first the couple of different scenarios we got to play.
Okay.
One of them was highlighting some new...
Hold on. We got some things to talk about. I know Max is talking. I'm sorry, Max. But look, I got to talk about the things that I'm seeing as well that is really catching my eye right now. First off, different Legion arm right here, right? Icarus. So it seems like you have like these 4, I want to say spinning blades, maybe like chakrams. I think that's the most similarity thing I could think of. So I'm gonna just say chakrams. But you got like these 4 chakrams off of this Legion arm.
Just leave me to be excited.
It seems like I think depending on how long you charge it depends on how many you throw out. Because I saw like 2. If you pay close attention, it was like 2 like charge up animations. Like it was like 1, 2, and he threw out 2.
Of
like, pay attention, right?
This session just leave me to be excited.
1, 2,
all over
and then
again.
Threw 2
and I'm going
out,
to talk about at first.
And it seems like it stays in place for a little bit and then it returns. Nah, that looks cool. So it's like a little Legion arm to where you could deal damage and everything like that.
The different scenarios we got to play. One of them was highlighting some new modes, and there is new modes in.
And then we got the Fable art.
One of them was highlighting some new modes,
and it seemed like it seems like there's 2 different types of Fable arts that the Gunblade has. One is an attack one, and one is a I forgot what the other one was called. But the attack one seems to be the one where you shoot the Gunblade.
There is
which
new
costs
modes
3 Legion
in
arms,
Lies of P Overture
staggers,
that are specifically there to sort of
then
enhance the experience from the core game leading into the DLC. And
What's
that
the
is new
name?
challenge
Forgot what it's
mode
called.
stuff.
And the bow and
where there's a
arrow.
mode called like battle.
The bow and arrow, it's actually its own weapon. Oh, that's fucking dope. I'm sorry, Max. You continue talking. Continue talking. I gotta just point out all the shit I'm seeing. So the bow and arrow is its own weapon.
And that is new challenge mode stuff. Where there's a mode called like Battle Memories, and it allows you to fight against previous bosses just like right out the whim. You don't have to like run back or do story mode stuff. You can just progress through like 5 difficulty tiers of bosses. And the first 3 are initially available. You unlock the other tiers by defeating that boss and, you know, getting the harder challenge unlocks.
I wish, like, Soulsborne games. I wish more Soulsborne games did this to where instead of having to like replay the game through New Game Plus or just to replay the new game with a different character, anything like that. What's up, Cinnamon? What's up? Come on, you see I'm recording a video. Y'all notice how Cinnamon been wanting to be in the videos a lot more, right? Y'all notice this. But I wish more Soulsborne games gave us this, right? And the only game that I could think of where FromSoft gave us a thing to where we could like refight the bosses that we fought in, you know, the current run, to where we could refight them is literally Sekiro. It's not a Soulsborne game. Sekiro is not a Soulsborne game, but I'm just saying a game from FromSoft. You know what I'm saying? A game from FromSoft, you know, because they gave us Elden Ring, they gave us Dark Souls, they gave us Demon Souls, they gave us Bloodborne. You know what I'm saying? FromSoft gave us all these games, and the one thing that sucks that we didn't get, even though nobody's really complaining about, but you know, kind of wish is that we could replay these boss fights, because that's one of the major things that people love. That's one of the major things that sticks out in Soulsborne games. Is like, yeah, the difficulty, of course, but the bosses is what really sets the fucking stage, the tone, everything of a fucking video game from start to finish. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, you could mention Dark Souls 3, one of the first bosses that could come into your head. Literally could be a lot from Dark Souls 3. You got Slave Knight Gale, you got Indux Gundyr, you got Champion Gundyr, you got Sister Freed, you got the fucking the twins, the prince twins, you got the Soul of Cinder, you got fucking Yorm like, bro, you got all these characters. You got all these characters. You know what I'm saying? The dancer, bro. Yeah, Dark Souls 3 has so many memorable bosses. Same thing with Dark Souls 1, Ornstein Smo, fucking the gargoyles. What's that spider motherfucker? From Blighttown, I forgot her name, but you see what I'm saying? Like, Soulsborne bosses are so memorable in their own ways. Whether those bosses were very annoying to fight, ass to fight, or fucking hell to fight, but at the same time fun to fight. You know what I'm saying? And what sucks is that we don't have those modes to replay them. Meanwhile, Liza P now is about to give us this mode when the DLC comes out. And then First Berserker, which, by the way, in the current time point of the video, I did beat the game, by the way. So spoiler alert, I did beat the game finally. Yes, fucking sir. But First Berserker also gives you an option if you want to replay bosses, even from previous missions you've done. And now they have a boss rush mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish we got that type of content from them. But I feel like Night Rain is gonna sort of be in that same regards. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we're here to talk about Liza P. But I'm just saying, I'm happy that they're doing that. So yes.
And then there's also a thing called, I think it was called Death March, where you can fight a whole bunch of different bosses with like different health items and all this like stipulations, but like a whole bunch of them in like a row in a way.
So what, like
you can sort of
RNG,
set up like a
with different
3-boss scenario
items
if you wanted. From these situations, they presented different bosses that we had normally played in what was a campaign snippet of the Krot Zoo that is going to be appearing in Liza P. Overture. And I'm going to talk about that in a second, but the more important thing is that, now I don't want to get into too many specifics and details about the...
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry, but I gotta see. Were those all the new weapons?
Now I don't want to get into too many specifics
It's
and
like,
details.
I don't want to spoil myself,
about...
but I'm very excited for this. So it seems like we have 9 new weapons for Liza P. Overture. These are all new weapons. These are all new weapons. Not sure what all of them does. This one kind of reminds me of the stake driver. Is that what it's called in Bloodborne? It's been a minute since I played Bloodborne. I swear, if you chew on my Ethernet cord, go over there. Go over there. Cinnamon, go over to that pillow. Or you can stay right here. But knowing you, do not, because I'll be mad if you chew my Ethernet cord. But yeah, we got 9 new weapons. I'm excited to see what each weapon does, man. I'm excited. As we can see, you know, I'm kind of cheating, but the bow is technique, and I got a technique built. So okay.
Out these bosses, but some of them had some pretty interesting sort of like mechanical nuance to them. One of them is quote unquote, and this isn't too much of a spoiler, but a puppet boss.
Okay.
And a whole bunch of that was a lot of like managing your camera and perspective against which one do I focus on type of stuff, which I thought was kind of a cool dynamic and took a little while to get used to, but once you get used to it, it's pretty satisfying. There's another boss in this demo that is you know,
seen
very
this boss
Ludwig-like, is all I'll say. And I absolutely loved it. Didn't get the chance to like beat all of these even on the base difficulty because they were really hard and we were sort of getting reacclimated to the buttons and controls of anything and everything of Lies of P. But I was super impressed by all 3 bosses that were in here. All 3 of them had a very different tone. All 3 of them were doing things differently mechanically throughout each one too. And they were very refined.
What is this pinwheel
and that's
weapon,
one thing
dude?
that I'm going to be saying a lot throughout my initial play session of Lies of P Overture in this preview.
Hold on. You telling me this is a weapon that every time you swing the blades, bro? What's that one weapon called? This is how you know they are inspired from Bloodborne. That one that pizza cutter shit. You know what I'm talking about.
My initial play session of Lies of P Overture in this preview
is definitely a multivity
is
weapon.
that this feels really refined and really polished.
I wonder
even
what the
in
Fable
comparison
arts
to
are.
what was already an extremely polished game that was Lies of P in its vanilla state. So outside of that, yeah, new modes, new cool stuff. There is a thing that they're adding to the game, which is an overall like difficulty slider or difficulty settings. Going to be a new base game patch that even allows you to change 2 new difficulty settings, which are called like Butterfly's Guidance and Awakened Puppet.
Okay.
And they're for people that are just looking for a more story-focused experience. And the default game setting is called, I believe, Legendary Stalker. So that's the one that we kind of played initially when the game came out and what we played in this demo. So that's cool. It's just neat that there's going to be more people to play the game on like easier difficulties, more health pools, maybe like just access to see stuff that's in the game that leads you on the adventure.
So they basically just added like difficulty options. I think that's cool. Honestly, I think that's really cool. You know, I feel like one thing I could definitely... What? Every time, I'm letting y'all know, every time I record a video or I stream, she always wants my attention. Every time. What? Because you never bark at me. What is it? I took you out. You peed. We played. What is it? What is it? Do you want to sit on my lap? Is that what it is? Do you want to sit on my lap? Oh, okay. You are not gonna lick my mouth. You want to sit on my lap? Is that what it is? You can sit on my lap if you want. Is that what you want to do? Is that what you want to do? Because you're not gonna stand up on my lap. What you want? Hey, if you want to be on my lap, I don't mind, but you gotta sit. Cinnamon. You're not gonna embarrass me. Okay. All right. Yep. All right. Sit. Stop. Okay? Stop. Anyways, like I was... Do you see what I gotta go through? You see what I gotta go through? Do you see this? She does this every time. But like I was saying, I feel like, because this is something that you don't really get from Soulsborns, but I feel like from Souls-like you do. Because Souls-like is a little bit more freedom because they're inspired from Soulsborne games, but they, try to take it a little, like with the inspiration from Soulsborne games, they try to still have their own type of original creativity of the game. And what I'm liking is that, they're trying to just add in a difficulty option. In case people want to feel more story driven, new to Soulsborne games. But they want to kind of get the premise of how Soulsborne game is, maybe they want to start off pretty easily and then get used to the difficulty, or just go right off with the difficulty at the bat. I think that's cool.
I have no issue against that, but I pretty much played on the default. And yeah, it's challenging, man. I was definitely getting beat up quite a bit. What I loved about this is I really love the level progression. So you begin the campaign demo in like a snowy area. And oh yeah, by the way, that's a freaking gunblade.
Yeah.
It's just straight up. The main
Bro,
character
so
has a gunblade now, and there's a lot of other weapons
fun.
that are of unique variety and are brand new weapon types
I want this weapon
that are added
and
to the game.
I bet you, 'cause I'm
some
a
of
technique build. I have a technique advanced build. I fucking bet you, this shit finna be motivity in advance. I have a technique advanced build. If it's advanced, I'm Gucci. If it's technique, I'm Gucci. So I got a 66% chance. But then again, here's the thing about Liza P. If you have a motivity, technique, or advanced crank, you could crank it to that specific scaling, so that way you could have more optimized damage depending on what your build is. So if the gunblade is a motivity weapon, but you have a technique build, if you had technique cranks, you could crank it to the scaling of a technique build to where you could actually have the most optimized damage for using that weapon. Just so you know.
Of them are like boss weapons that come with their own intrinsic like physics and abilities, while others are the usual like crafting, putting one piece of a weapon together with the other and getting a multitude of abilities, which was similar to the initial game in Liza P.
What the fuck is that?
But yeah, the gunblade I kind of stuck with throughout the majority of it, and one other weapon, and I had a lot of fun. But it's not what you think it is. It's not like a normal weighted sword. It's very much a heavy sword, like almost like a great sword situation. Ooh! So, but I liked it. A lot of cool mobility, all of its extra attacks, allow you to move around a lot more. That's very fun and obviously quite inspired. But yeah, getting back to the level design, it's great, man. It's obviously super linear levels with, you know, basic enemy character placement similar to a Souls-like. But I just love the storytelling progression. You begin like in the woods, in the snow,
how you say it?
As you're making your way.
Is it a rapier or is it a rapier? Rapier or rapier? You know, I've never actually looked up how to. You know, we gonna look right now. We gonna look right now. Hold on, Google. We gonna look right now. Like, cause actually, I want to see, cause I want to make sure I'm saying it right. It's either rapier or rapier. I don't like rapier. I don't like that. That don't sound right. Hold on.
Rapier.
It is. I'm gonna say rapier. Rapier sounds better to me. I ain't gonna say that.
Through learning more, seeing more as it comes, and you like crest the horizon and see Krot Zoo in this great big like epic landscape shot, which I just love about these games. So once you actually get into the zoo, it's moody and spooky, and there's a bunch of like deformed and crazy animals. There's like a giant dead giraffe that is just like in the background as a set piece.
Giant dead giraffe.
It's cool, man. It just fits the vibe of the initial Liza P even more.
That dude came out of nowhere.
I was sort of
I want to know what the other
as I was
ability
playing
is with
through
the
this, and being reminded that, man, like I've played a lot of other Souls-like since this came out, and the parry window in Liza P is really shallow. Like, it's really specific. That as I was playing through this and engaging with the enemies and sort of reminding myself, oh yeah, dodging is really good. You don't just have to parry everything. I was having a lot of fun, and it sort of like reminded me why I like Liza P so much, because you had a multifaceted approach to every single boss fight.
Oh my
God,
God,
felt
wait.
like the devs were fairly confident.
Wait, that thing could be on fire? Wait.
Approach
this
to
Legion arm, the Icarus.
Every single boss fight.
How's it on fire?
I like Liza P so much because you had a...
Oh, okay, hold on, I think I learned something. Okay, so this Legion arm. Hey, look, if you're someone who wants to like experience everything for yourself and don't want nobody to explain anything like that, look, I'm just saying, I'm gonna be explaining everything that I see that catches my eye, that seems very interesting. You know what I'm saying? Because look, we don't have, this is the next gameplay footage, so we might as well soak up everything that we can see. You know what I'm saying? So if I see something interesting that maybe you guys probably didn't notice, maybe some of you already noticed what I'm talking about, but maybe there's somebody who didn't. You know what I'm saying? Have a different perspective, see somebody's different perspective, everything like that. It seems like with the Icarus, and this might be an upgrade of this Legion arm in general, but it seems like with the Icarus, when you throw out the like the blades and stuff like that, and once it returns,
and it sort of like reminded me why I like Liza P so much, because
it builds up like a heat charge apparently. So the next time you throw out your
blade,
blade,
had a
with the Icarus arm,
approach to every single boss fight.
It seems like it only throws out a single blade. Maybe you could charge. I'm not sure, but if you can't, I think it just throws out a single blade rotating with fire.
And it felt like the devs were fairly confident that people like this. People like their game design, their theory about how combat sort of works in Liza P. It felt confident, is what I'm trying to say. It felt like they really knew what they were going for, and now that people are enjoying it, it's a full send commitment. Here's some crazy weapons. Here's some like new mobility with those weapons, all that kind of stuff. Also, the arms that you get, there's some pretty great like practical use ones now. I remember in Liza P, how you use the arms and what they were good for was kind of specific at times, and some of these had some pretty like
that
easy
weapon is
to
gonna be
use
crazy.
general.
That weapon is gonna be crazy. I'm letting y'all know right now. That's probably going to be one of the most broken weapons in the DLC. And you want to know why? Because it seems like with Lies of P DLC, we're going to be fighting a ton of beasts, right? We're going to be fighting a ton of beasts. And beasts, they do not fucking like heat, okay? Because remember, puppets are more so subjective to electricity and corrosive. Beasts are more so subjective to or corrosive enemies are more so subjective to heat and I mean, corrosive you can just do with anything, but you know, it just all depends. And I'm telling you,
Damaging things that shoot out like spinning blades or something like that act as like a shotgun in some way.
But I think this repair, bro, look at that.
Use case scenarios that are kind of like you can just use this sort of at any point, and it would just be good against most enemies, you know. Instead of
I want to know what
kind
the
of like
Fable Arts
tailor-made
is.
situations with like the
Oh my
grappling hook
God.
and stuff like that. You really got to be ready for that.
Oh
or
my
ready for a
God,
specific
do you
boss.
see this?
But yeah, making my way through the level, it's nice. There's a lot of different paths and branching paths, a lot of items, a lot of discoverability.
And you can just burn it. See, look at
going
bro.
indoors, outdoors.
Nah, this
like
weapon
this
is gonna
zoo
be
feels
insane.
massive.
Like, bro, no, because then what's the fucking point? What's the point of having of the flame birds? I think that's what that Legion armor is called. Flame birds. You could just have this weapon on some real shit. This weapon replaces that Legion arm in a way.
The time
what I'm
I was
seeing,
completing this
but
demo,
I gotta
and
experience it to
pretty
really
much
say that for a
ends
fact.
on a
But that's what it
big
feels
boss
like,
fight
just
that was
looking at
different
it.
than the boss fights that we experienced in the different multi-bosses that we talked
my
about
God, look at
earlier,
this
the revisiting boss fights we talked about earlier. And it's a giant, like, deformed, crazy demon alligator. And this thing was tough. This is very much one of like the monster fights, and you get in Lies of P traditionally sort of like big creature fights and also human fights. And in that game, or at least in the base game, I really loved both of them. Some of them and the creature side could get a little cumbersome because their attacks were just so big at times, and figuring out how to get around that would just be kind of tough. But ultimately speaking, I liked them. I think there was a nice balance between one-on-one human sort of fighting and also big monster fighting, and this was definitely leaning into the big monster stuff, but I was able to beat it. It was enjoyable. It took me several times. I was trying to use as many of my resources as possible to show them off and also show off new weapons and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, if this is just going to be once again representative of the game, it feels like Lies of P, obviously, once again, but clearly a lot more confident, and they're giving us a lot more tools and sort of crazy things to work with.
See, now, what did he do? What type of buff is this Fable art to the gunplay?
A lot more confident, and they're giving
like, as you can see, he buffed it. I wonder if it like boosts the bullet damage. I'm wondering if it boosts the bullet damage of the gunblade.
Tools and sort of crazy things to work with.
That's my guess.
Instead of just sort of being sort of like
the
a heavy-handed character,
changed
just
to where it's like
moving in and out of areas sort of slowly. They want you to still be doing that, but it feels like the combat freedom is opening up a bit more, which is kind of what you expect out of an expansion. It very much reminds me of what Bloodborne sort of did with its expansion, that it's hard to imagine going back to, you know, the base game once you get Old Hunters. And I really hope that's the case when we get the full story of Lies of P Overture and we see how the entire game is. So yeah, that's about it. I want to give a big shout out to NeoWiz for inviting me out to allow me to play this version of the game. And I'm very much looking forward to the game when it eventually does release. I don't think we have a pinpointed release date yet.
Not yet. All we know is summer.
Hopefully that will get announced soon, but I think it is something close to like a summer 2025 timeframe. So maybe somewhere around Summer Games Fest we might learn something more. That's not a confirmation. I'm just making a huge guesstimate here. But yeah, I'll be back with more. I'll be also likely doing a full playthrough of this, just like we did with Lies of P originally on the channel. So if you guys want to stay tuned for that, I appreciate a thumbs up or a like on the video. And if you guys like Lies of P, go ahead and leave a comment below. My name is Max, and I'll see you dudes next time.
Yeah, you gotta end it up with a win. No, man, this game looks sick. This game looks sick. What are you doing?
The size of that thing! Is that how big they normally get?
Yeah, nah, I cannot wait for this game. I cannot wait for this game. What are you doing? 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 Anyways, I'm excited for this game. I know there's a lot of gameplay footage. There's a lot of gameplay footage of Lies of P Overture. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot. And I want to look at all of it, but the thing is, there's a lot. But I'm definitely gonna look more at it I'm definitely gonna look more at it. I have done the Liza P playthrough on this channel, so if you guys want to watch my playthrough, you can. It was amazing, man. It was fucking amazing. But if you guys enjoyed it so much, thank you guys so much for watching. Other than that, I cannot wait to see more Liza P, and hopefully we get a release date for the Summer Games Fest. Other than that, you guys take care of yourself.